Hey, welcome back to the shop just outside Kennesaw here in North Georgia. This is part 2 of a 2-part video series on trying to make something of this poor old oak chest of drawers. As we talked about in the first video, we believe this chest of drawers was the victim of a stripping in a dunk tank, and pretty much every single joint is loose. The wood is desiccated and cracked. It's got all sorts of problems, but right now what we're going to do is get the hat box remounted into the chest of drawers, and then when the glue sets up on that, we'll leave that overnight. We'll put the back on and see if we can get this square and stable, and then we can polish it up and get it the heck out of here. So let's tackle the hat box now. And yesterday we re-glued this hat box and it had broken apart in 3 different pieces. And there's a couple things to remember. The interior of the hat box on the sides and the bottom have to match the face frame, and I'll show you that from the top just in a second. And importantly too is this drawer runner here serves as the side drawer runner for one of the drawers. We have to make sure that this corner right here is flush so that the drawer can slide on this, because again, this is mounted to the side of the hat box. Around back, what I did is I lined the nail. I pounded down the nail that fastened it, stuck up about 1/8 of an inch, marked where the hole was, and lined that up right on the nail to locate this corner. Then it runs all along this piece of the face frame, right up against the edge, and notches around that piece of frame there. And I've marked those spots as well so I can get it right there during the glue up. You can see where it needs to be lined up, and that's going to involve me having to push this manually this way as we secure it, because this is warped. This piece is warped. And now we're looking down into the hat box, and this here is the back of the door, and this is the face frame, and the face frame and our front piece have to be flush. Otherwise, when somebody opens the hat door, they're going to see that protruding in front of the opening. So those are kind of some of the parameters we're going to have to deal with as we glue this up. My intention is to glue down the face frame, pin it with a couple of finish nails, pin it to the back, pin it to the side, and then get clamps on this, pulling the box into the face frame and securing it, let it dry overnight, and then we'll move forward from there. So let me get you in the stand and we'll give it a whirl. Okay, here we go. Wish me luck. Well, I tell you what, that wasn't anywhere near as hard as I was afraid it was going to be. Obviously, pre-lining everything up made a huge difference, but that's in. I'm happy it's going to stay in right the way it is. I think I'm going to probably put one clamp across. I think I'll probably put one clamp across this way to pull the side into that a little bit, even though I've got a couple of pins holding it in. But alright, we're going to let that set up overnight, and I will bring you back tomorrow morning. We'll put the rest of this old girl back together, get her cleaned up, and get her the heck out of here. That worked out good. See you tomorrow. Well, good morning. It's the next day. We've let this hat box sit overnight, so let's take off the clamps and see how we did. Nice and sturdy, nice and stable. So far so good. Of course, we won't know what the face frame looks like till we turn this thing over, but remember, we're going to have two big old nails banged through. We're going to have to do something with that, but that happens next. And this is the groove that the back panel slides into. So we've got to clean this out on both sides. We've got to clean off each of the panels, get them ready to be glued up, and then because we're going to be using so much glue on this job, we're going to pour some glue into a larger container and probably put it on with a foam brush. Just speed things up a little bit. So let me get some tools out and I'll show you how I'm going to clean out these grooves. And there's nothing high-tech about cleaning this groove out. I've just got myself a little screwdriver. And what you want to do is run that screwdriver in there so you're making contact with all three sides, the bottom, the top, and the back. And just get out any of the crusties that might be in there and make sure that there's no little broken pieces of nail in there that is going to hang up when you go to slide a piece in. So I'll take care of this all the way along up to where the last piece is, and then I'll take some compressed air, blow it out, and we'll get set up to glue. Now before we go too far, one of the big things that we need to ensure so that not only the cabinet looks right, it doesn't tip, but that the drawers work, is that this entire thing is square. This thing can now rock either way. So the best way that I've found to do this is to take diagonal measurements. Now unfortunately, you can see there's a lot of wear on the corners of the cabinet, so getting an exact measurement diagonally can be a bit of a challenge, but make adjustments, estimate the center of the leg or whatever you got to do. What I normally do is take it from the corner of the top across the back to this corner or wherever I decide to do it on both sides and make sure they're equal. And before we start gluing this back in, that's what we'll do. And then as we clamp it, we'll make sure it stays square. Don't ever glue up a piece that you haven't squared, or you're going to be quite annoyed at yourself when the time comes. All right, let's get to work. And it's 62 inches there. About perfect. So we're okay to start gluing up. That's the glue that I normally use, is my PVA glue. Had good luck with it. Now this is where you're going to be thankful that you numbered the back panels, but the other thing you got to remember is you're going to have to clean out the grooves on every one of them. They are just filthy. You can see it. So I'm going to turn you off. I'm going to get everything cleaned up, and then we'll get moving on to gluing things up. Here we go. Okay, that's how we're going to do it. We've got 13 pieces to put in. There we go, one of the messiest glue ups I've ever done. I got glue everywhere. I'm gonna throw a clamp across the back to pull everything tight, and I'm gonna start wiping up some glue. So here we go. Let's make sure our diagonal measurements are correct. We may have to throw a clamp across the bottom of the cabinet. We're off by just a little. Okay, I'm happy with that. This glue up is super important to the stability of this cabinet, so this thing is going to stay just like this overnight. We'll be back tomorrow, we'll get the drawers in it, do any final tweaks, touch-ups to the front, and we'll be done. So, I can't tell you how happy I am that that's all back together. Alright, I'll see you guys in the morning.
Well, I changed my mind as I often do and decided to use the hydraulic table to get that down off the operating table, down onto the floor so I can make sure it was square and all the drawers worked properly. And here's a view of the inside of the panel we just glued up. Everything looks good in there. Let's take a look in the hat box. That looks great too. Real happy with the way that came out. And remember those nails we were talking about? Oh, there they are, staring us right in the face. And there's the other one. We'll take care of those in just a few minutes. Now, let's take care of those right now. I could pound them back in, but I'm going to pull these out. It's kind of my middle finger to the guy that did this in the beginning. So, to whoever it was that did this, this is the right way to do it, from me to you. And let's get his big brother out of there too. And here she is with all the drawers inside of it. And all the drawers fit just fine. Everything works fine. The cabinet's nice and square. It's got no more rocking. You can see here how nicely that drawer opens right up. That's the one that we completely rebuilt. And this crack here is from someone driving a nail into the back of the hat box. We're going to have to fix that. We'll take care of that in just a second. And we can't forget the 2 nail holes that we're going to have to fill. And we've got a crack up on the top. And I think you can see that crack a little bit better in this shot here. We've got a nail that's popped out of the back of the top. And all sorts of little cosmetic issues we have to take care of. But all in all, it's looking good so far. Let's keep moving forward. Oh yeah, no more wiggles. And here I am testing out the fit of the drawers. And this one right here is just catching a little bit. Let me pull it out. We'll put it up on the bench and see if we can figure this out. Anytime you've got a binding drawer, take a look at the drawer runner. See if you can find anything that's out of the ordinary. Make sure the runner is flush with the underside of the face of the drawer. And often on a drawer, those sharp edges, if you relieve them a little bit, will help the drawer slide. In this case, they're going into one of our new drawer runners. So I'm just going to round these over with a hand plane on both sides. And if you ever have a problem with a fit of the thickness of the drawer, you want to take it off from the underside so you're not messing up the finish or the look on the top of the drawer. Now I'm just going to apply some candle wax to the drawer runners, to the underside of the face frame of the drawer, and the runners inside the cabinet, and these will help the drawer slide much more easily. And these drawers, believe it or not, have nails in the bottom of them. Anytime you have that, you've got to get them under the surface or they will drag on your cabinet runners and groove them up and hang the drawers up. Okay, with those flush, let's put it back. Let's apply the wax to the runners and the face frame of the cabinet, and then we'll reinstall the drawer and see how well it slides. I think it's going to be fine. And just like downtown, fits great. Put a little bit of wax on the top, keep it from sticking to the underside of this, and look at that. That's the way to do it.
Well, hey, with these drawers all refitted, the back is on, she's solid as a rock, all the problems have been taken care of. This was a great project. I'm glad you came along with me on it. I'm proud of it. I think the owner's going to like it. This piece was one of the worst ones we've ever had in the shop. Closest thing to a pile of firewood I've seen in a long time, and with a little bit of work, we were able to bring it back, and someone should have some great use out of it. So I want to thank you for watching from our shop just outside Kennesaw here in North Georgia. Best regards. Thanks for watching. Take good care, and remember, it's just wood, color, and some shiny stuff. And I almost forgot again. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel so the channel can grow. And before I forget, Happy New Year to all of you. Take care. We'll see you next video. Bye.